Spartans! What is your profession?
I try to live what they let go, away to dreams they'll never know. But a drowning soul can't save the tide, and now I see I must step aside.
I fought till my hands turned to stone, carrying battles that weren't my own. They swore they'd stand but turned away, left me to bleed in the fray.
I held the line as long as I could, fought for the spark they misunderstood. They whispered dreams they'd never choose, said they were in but lived to lose. I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out, your silence echoes a deafening shout.
I wanted to see your colors fly, but you clipped your wings and let them die. You craved the fall, not the fight to win, a war within that you let begin.
I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out, your silence echoes a deafening shout. I saw the fire dim in their eyes, promises buried under their lies. They wore the crown of fleeting belief, but ran from the throne when it brought grief. Oh,
I tried to carry your weight on my back, but your shadow was a heavy attack. You disappeared when the fire burned high, left me screaming at an empty sky.
I wanted the victory more than they, but you can't chase stars for those who stray. So I lay down the sword and walk away. The battle's lost, they chose decay. I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out, your silence echoes a deafening shout. Oh, they vanished like shadows in the light, fading away when it's time to fight. I reach my hand, they let it fall. I can't catch ghosts, I've given it all.
Oh, they vanish like shadows in the light, fading away when it's time to fight. I reached my hand, they let it fall. I can't catch ghosts, I've given it all.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. How is everyone doing today? What a beautiful, beautiful Sunday afternoon, at least down here in South Florida. We were out on the basketball court this morning, hot as ever, but the weather was absolutely beautiful. The weather is absolutely beautiful. I am having a fantastic day, a fantastic weekend. Thank you for asking. How about yourselves? How are you doing? I am Tickle Trough. We are engineered to win. Or, like my friends like to say, I do my very, very best to annoy you. Yes, you right there, to success.
Bruh.
Welcome. So today we're going to be looking into building out our CI/CD pipeline. We have started to, so we were working on doing our unit test and our integration test for, I forgot which, I think we were doing it for the homeschooling app. I'm doing it on another app as well, but I wanted to take whatever passes or fails and start to put it onto the CI/CD pipeline. I see that it created a GitHub action or a GitHub workflow for us. So we're going to try that out. We're going to start getting more and more familiar with how the CI/CD part works, because that is a huge, huge part of DevOps, and GitHub helps us. GitHub helps us set that up very, very well. So we're going to jump into that today. You know that before we do anything, though, before we do anything, after we get through our housekeeping, we got to get our token hit. Because I am a token fiend and I am just a straight up nerd.
You're such a nerd.
I know. So after we get through our housekeeping, then we're going to jump into working on the Lovable platform. I think I'm going to work on the app that is for the working on the dashboard app. I believe. I have to check my list of what we need to do. But I was having some issues. I'm having some issues with the dashboard app. Maybe I'll work on the dashboard app because I wanted to talk about some egregious things that I found, which is important on why it is essential that you can't just prompt and pray. You cannot be prompting on a prayer. What I have started to do every single time Lovable makes a change for me, I have to go and look at the code changes, because sometimes it gets a little rogue, it gets a little crazy, and it does some crazy things. So I'll talk to you guys about that as well. But we got to acknowledge all of our friends in the building. So first and foremost, let's get to a little bit of housekeeping. Let me be the first to say welcome, of course, and thank you. Thank you so much to all of the subscribers to the channel, those who are brand spanking new, and those who have been with me for a very, very long time, since day one. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate every last one of you for allowing me to spend, whether you're watching on a clip, whether you are watching one of our premieres, whether you are watching a live stream and interacting with me in the chat. I appreciate every last one of you for allowing me to add a little bit of tech value, a little bit of career value, a little bit of mindset value into your lives. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Salute to all of my Patreon members, my tech barbarians, I work with them one-on-one, my tech project members, I also work with them one-on-one, and my technical explorers, who get so much value from the being able to connect with me one-on-one through like messaging and Discord and stuff like that, but also on our vibe code and chill sessions that we have every other Saturday. Let's go. When I do the vibe code and chill sessions, I feel that I have gone out into the tech wilderness, and I figured out a bunch of things, and I bring it back home to my people, and I am able to share and collaborate and iterate on how we can do really, really cool things. I share with you all the things that I'm working on, all the things that I'm building, and I answer all of your questions. We do it for about 2 hours on Saturdays. And I'm just hanging out, Google Meet, chilling, can follow up in the Discord, all of that good stuff, right? So shout out to all of my Tech Coach Ralph Patreon members, the Tech Barbarians, the Tech Project members, and my technical explorers. Let's get it. Let's get it. You guys know that we are the best.
We the best.
And shout out to my tech mercenaries. Those are the YouTube channel members who allow me to come in on YouTube and allows me to provide value, this tech value, into your lives, exploring together, learning together, running it up together. Let's go out there and get it.
Let's get it.
All right. So upcoming shows tomorrow. We have tomorrow morning. We're going to have our morning show, Morning Vibes with Tech Coach Rao, also known as Coffee and Kata. We're going to continue working on our N8N workflow, trying to so real quick, what's been happening is it keeps trying to put the image or the text on the image, and AI image generation is so bad putting text or rendering text. So so I'm going to work on getting that out so that we can render a clean image, no text, and have that as our ad, and then we'll have a caption of the text. So slight modifications. I'm really curious how whoever is, because I even tried to Dali, whoever created these flows, how they're able to put these texts on there. From what I see, it does not work that good. So that'll be what we're jumping into tomorrow morning around 8 a.m. And then at noon Eastern time, we're going to be having candid conversations. We're going to be premiering talking about just do it. Basically, just go out there and do it. You have an idea, start on it. Before you share it with the whole entire world, you find out if it's worth it or not. Don't let them tell you that your idea isn't viable, isn't worth it, and just discourage you, run you off when you never know. Go out there and just do it. We're going to be talking about that in depth tomorrow, so tune in. I'll be in the chat with you guys as we watch the premiere of Candid Conversations. Just like Nike says, just do it. All right, so those are our upcoming shows. Of course, we're going to be going live Tuesday night, tech Q&A and stuff. At this point, it's just and stuff. So that is the plan for today. And then real quick, during our first break of the day, someone reached out to me on Discord and they asked me a question. I answered the question, but I'm going to show what I would do in answering their question. Like, so how, if I was in their situation, I am going to actually act out what I would do. So when we get there to our first break, you will see, but it's going to be very, very important, very, very informative, how you can stay up to date, how you can use the latest tech to stay ahead of the game, ahead of the curve, and crush your dreams. Let's go. What can I say? Another one, right?
Another one.
All right. So let's jump into, I'm going to put 20 minutes up on the clock. Let me log into Lovable real quick. But like I said, we are going to be working on CI/CD, and let me check my list as well. Let me log into Lovable and let me check my list of things that we need to work on before we actually get into building out the CI/CD pipeline. But the reason I could work on building features for the homeschool app, which I need to maybe tonight. But the other thing is, I think the GitHub, like working on the dashboard, is going to be very, very much in line with our CI/CD pipeline dreams. All right. So let me go ahead and log in. Then I'm going to put 20 minutes on the clock, and I'll start sharing with this crazy thing that I saw GitHub do, that I was that I saw Lovable do, and I was absolutely appalled. Yes, I was appalled by it. All right, so let's start off with this, and let me put up 20 minutes.
It's time to do.
And this is the engineering metrics dashboard that I'm working on building, which is going to have multiple uses, right? However, I totally obliterated it the other day, right? Totally obliterated it. Why did I do that? Well, I was looking through the database. On Supabase, and I saw that whether it was Lovable or Supabase who did it, I don't know who the guilty party is, but the way that this application was supposed to work, right? If I go to, what is it? Let's go over to here, and I go to admin, and when I put in the GitHub, when I put in the GitHub personal access token, right, it should store it somewhere. But what it did was it stored it as plain text inside of the database. So I'm browsing the database and I saw this. I'm like, oh my God. Almost like
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
We cannot be stored. And here's the thing, right? Here's the kicker. It says your token will be encrypted and stored securely. It was not. I repeat, it was not secured securely because I could see it plain as day. So now that it's not secured, now that it's not being stored in the database, because I went into the database and I told it, you know what, let's get rid of it. This is not that one. Let's go this one, that one. Let's go to, I'm gonna show you what I saw. I'm gonna show you what I saw. So we go to table editor, and then eventually it deleted. I had to delete I had to delete it. Hopefully it's gone. Let me see. Am I in the right one? Okay, so it deleted the column. So in here it had a column. It had a column for the GitHub personal access token, and I was like, what the hell? And that is so unsecure. All right, so we cannot be having that. And you'll see where I did it over here too. It was like, let's see. Run SQL to remove token. Yep. I was like, all right, you got to get that out of there. You've got to get that out of there. Not good, not happening. All right. So, but that is why it is important that you understand. You don't have to be an expert. I'm going to tell you this. You don't have to be an expert, right? But you have to have some sense of understanding or willingness to understand. When something I started doing is like after I make these changes, I go and I look at the code to see like, well, okay, I might not understand it completely, but I go look at the code to say, okay, what is going on over here, right? So with that being said, I am going to take a personal access token, wherever it may be. And I am going to go in here. Let's go look at this. Let me dock it so you can see it. And type in some gibberish. All right, cool. Let's get this out of the way. And if I go here and I connect to GitHub and I don't have any repositories, so because somehow, some way, it's not connecting. No repositories, nothing, zilch, nada. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to go over to Lovable, and I already said that it's not. I can see the issue looking at the GitHub connection component. When you click on connect to GitHub, it's calling handle connect, yada, yada, yada. Now, when you enter your GitHub token and click connect to GitHub, so here's what I'm going to do, right? I personally would prefer that, because here's, let me think. Because I can't have I could do a secret in Supabase for the GitHub token where everything will show up. Well, for now, to get it to work, that's what I'm going to do, right? Can we rework the way that GitHub, or the way that we store our, or the way that, can we rework the way that, and that's what I do sometimes. I say, can we rework this, the way that we connect to GitHub so that we can avoid all of this complication? Can we just store the GitHub PAT as a Supabase secret and redo how the dashboard is connecting to it, right? Simple as that. No biggie. And so then it should ask us for the token, and then we should be able to put it in there. We'll see what happens. All right. And we should have, I don't think I did much work on this yesterday. Yeah, we have 5. All right, we're good. We're good with 5. And I'm about halfway because the re-up is going to happen on the 17th of August. And I've only used 82. I've only used 82. Or I have 82 left. So we'll probably have we're probably gonna have a real log vibe code and chill session. I'll tell you that. Let me see. Next week is the 10th, and the week after, we might have to have 2. I might have to throw an extra one in there, right? So let me go ahead and add the key. Let me read what it says first. So I understand you want to simplify the GitHub connection by storing the personal access token as a Supabase secret instead of the complex vault system. This will make the connection more straightforward. Let me help you out. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and add. All right, let's go ahead and add the key. Look. I'm just gonna tell you that I watch my keys like I watch my credits and my tokens like a hawk. All right. So I was about to put the access token in there. I closed it just to see if they charged me a token for that. All right. Look. I am very protective of my tokens, okay? All right, now I'll rework the GitHub connection to use the simpler Supabase secret approach instead of the complex vault system. So the reason that I would so here's what I'm thinking, right? Let's say I was to turn this into a thing. I probably would. I don't like deploying software. Well, I take that. I'm thinking out loud. It's not that I don't like deploying software. I would want. So there's 2 ways you can approach it. You can do service as a software, right, where you're charging a monthly fee, or you could install this somewhere else. So service as a software, I would not define the Supabase for a set key or a set token. I would probably do what the approach that I was trying to do, but it's tricky. But I would rather see it work instead of messing around and wasting tokens for this particular project, which I don't really care about people managing their metrics. I care about me managing my metrics. So that's why I'm just doing it this way, right? So key changes made. New simple GitHub service. Removed all vault complexity and token storage. Now just stores repository configuration. Updated simple GitHub connection. Simplified UI that uses GitHub PAT secret directly from Supabase. Enhanced GitHub metrics edge functions. Now retrieve the token from GitHub PAT secret instead of the vault. Update admin page uses the new simple GitHub connection. How it works: the GitHub personal access token is stored in a Supabase secret, which you've already added. Users can test the connection and select repositories without entering tokens. The edge function retrieves the token from the secret when the GitHub call is made. Much cleaner, simpler approach. All right, cool. So now if we were to go in here and I refresh, and all right, we know our Jira issues are happening, of course. Let's go to GitHub and let's see, test and select repositories. Let's see how that goes. What? We are in it to win it. Let's go out there and get it. Let's go out there. All right, so I want to say, let me track this one. Well, I have a bunch of Supabase stuff in here. I mean, Lovable stuff in here. let's not do that one. Let's do this one. Let's get this one. Let's get that one. All right, let's go with those. Let me do this one too. Let's get that one. All right, we're good. So let's go with those. Save configuration. And looky here. 3 open PRs, 13 closed, 411 merge. Let's go out there and get it. And we have details all up in here. I don't know if they're showing up in any particular order, but cool. Look at that. Look at that. So now we have those. We have those. What's up? What's up, Junior? What's good? What's happening? So now if I refresh this, am I still connected? Let me see. We are, yes, we're still connected. Perfect. So now if I go onto my, let's say we go back over here, we open that up and we go to dashboard. We are in here. Let me see, check over here, see what's going on in the console and the network. Let's see. Don't see GitHub. All right. I don't see anything coming in. Let me see. Dora metrics, dashboard sections, dashboard metrics. All right, so I will say, all right, so I'm gonna say, I don't see GitHub configuration. It's retrieving the repository. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say that when I go to the dashboard now, I'm not seeing it populate any of the data from GitHub. It is possible that some updates need to be made in there. After we switched how it is called, after we switched how the PAT was being accessed and stored. Let's go with that, and we can say, oh, I'm just going to throw in a little extra. Also, on the dashboard, I would like a way to choose the GitHub, repository to see specific metrics for. It should be a filterable drop down. Let's go with that for now, right? Let's go with that. Let's see what it gives us. After that, I should have 2 more after this one, I think. Since we switched to the simpler GitHub PAT approach, we need to update the dashboard to work with the new system. I can see the dashboard is still trying to use the old GitHub service, the vaulted base tokens, and we need to add a repository filter dropdown. All right, cool. So we're going to have that. I wonder if GitHub had. I don't think I've ever seen it on GitHub. But still, I think being able to create our own just the way that we want it is even more awesome. I was about to say awesomer, but that would not be proper. Hey, Junior. Remember the question about Kirk Franklin and No Malice that I asked Rod Brown on Wednesday? Did he actually answer my question? Now that I just at first I don't know why, it just popped into my mind, but did he actually answer my question? Huh. I gotta go back. I gotta go back and watch Rod Brown's Wednesday night live stream to see if he actually answered my question. Because now I'm having second thoughts about that. It was a beautiful live stream. I just don't know if he actually answered my question. Anyways, I digress. Well, these are the things that pop into my mind while I'm waiting for Lovable to do its work, right? It says, we switch. All right, so perfect. I've updated the dashboard system to work with the new simplified GitHub PAT approach, added the filterable repository. Let's see, modified the use dashboard dashboard configuration, created repository filter, updated dashboard, modified the main dashboard, including the repository filter, and passed selected repositories to metric sections. The repository filter allows you to select. All right, cool. Let's see. And like I said, I like to look at the code every now and then, just to see the changes that are being made. Because here's the thing. I know people say, oh, it's vibe coding, you don't need to see the code. Well, I'm going to tell you a story when we're done with this about what happened to me a couple of times, but how I quickly adjusted and pivoted last night. All right, I'm just saying. All right, so we're gonna go over here, and we are over here. We're going to refresh. Let's see if we get some data in this. Let's see what we got going on. I see some errors happening. Okay, we're getting data. Something I don't like is that, where are these invalid actions? Okay, code coverage. We got some code coverage, baby. All right, that's what I'm talking about. All right, code churn. I know we can't get that one. Some of the stuff we can't get yet. Let's see. So something that is going to be a nuisance to me is that, let's see. Yeah, it was a question about the music, Junior. Let's see. Okay, 3 attempts. So we got that. Let's see. I want to select repository.
Lunch break.
Let's check out this one. How do you make it go though? I want to be able to type in the name of the repository. So what I'm going to say is first, there are a lot of API calls being made to GitHub to gather that data. Is there any way, make sure it's not going to GitHub directly as well. So we're heading, all right. So is there any way we can reduce the amount of API calls being made to GitHub so they don't get annoyed and start to rate limit us. Also, the drop down for the repositories should have a, what do you call that thing? They should have a type filter where I can start typing in the name of the repository so I can quickly find the repo that I want to work on. So, and I'm going to tell you this too, right? You guys remember when I was trying to get Jira to connect and I could not, but I thought that it was working like locally. Well, turns out that was a big fat lie. The reason that I was able to get I was able to do it like on the computer is because I was using Talon, and Talon was using my already authenticated self on Jira. But then once I tried it with Postman, Jira told me,
do not come.
You know, I was devastated. I was heartbroken. All of that good stuff, right? So looking at the code, indeed, many API calls are being made to GitHub, and the repository dropdown needs a search filter capability. Let me address both. Reduce API calls. I'll implement caching and optimize the data fetching. Hopefully that works. And let's see, add repository search. I'll update the dropdown to be searchable with typing. All right, let's see that. Let's see. And I think with that, we'll have one left. So I think we can use, I'll save that one. Maybe I'll need it for something else later. So we're going to wrap it up after this is done. I'm going to refresh. So yeah, so I can't really pinpoint what the GitHub issue, or not the Jira issue is. There's a few different reasons that it might be. It might be how we're trying to connect to the API. It could be the type of API that I'm like, the type of API authentication I'm trying to do might not be valid. It could be, which I don't think it is, but it could be that they're not giving my applications permission. I don't know. So I'm going to have to try to figure it out. And it's probably good that I didn't get a free trial, because it would have been wasted if I couldn't get it to work and I didn't have time to get it to work. So I have to allocate some time to do that, figure it out. We'll see. Maybe this week on some live streams. All right. Let's see the optimizations, added caching system. API responses are cached for 2 to 10 minutes, depending on the data type. Batch processing repository. API calls are being processed in batches of 2 or 3 to avoid overwhelming GitHub. So that's what I was thinking about. Added delays between batches to be respectful of rate limits. Repository filtering metrics are now filtered client side when specific repository is selected. A repository filter improvement. Searchable dropdowns. Command component. Use shade CN's command component for, okay, interesting. Visual selection indicator, clear check marks show selected repositories, and badge display. Selected repositories are shown as dismissible badges. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and give that one more shot. Ooh, not that. Let's go to here. Still a lot from what I can see. Let me do one more refresh. I still see a lot. And that's because it's doing those calls for like each. It's gonna have to be a better way, because it's doing those calls for each of those repos, and it's like 9 calls for all the repos that you have selected. It is not a winning plan. All right, it's just not a winning idea. See all those calls that it's making is terrible. And it's like every time that you would go to that, that's what would be happening, right? You see all of this, like these are such basic requests that it's like annoying that all these have to be made. That is crazy. That is way too much. And it's not even populating stuff yet. Oops. Yeah. And it's still going. Might have made it worse. Probably freezing the browser. Hold on. Let's do this. Sometimes, like when you have all those network calls, like or all those console logs, it ends up freezing the browser. Let's see if it's still doing that. Yep, still going. All right. We'll have to find a way to stop it because that's not good. And when I click on this, nothing happens. All right, so that we'll keep working on it. It's getting better though. It is getting better. Let's go over to full screen. And let me check the chat real quick. Say hello, hello, hello to my people, to my friends in the building. We got Junior in the building. Says, what's up, family? What's good with you, Junior? How is your Sunday going? Hopefully you are having a phenomenal day. And my question to Junior, he asked, was it about the music? Yes, it's about the music. It says, yeah, we were doing a little too much. We were doing a little too much in the chat. So before I get into my prompting example, let me close out some stuff on this computer. Forgot to close them out. All right, so before I get into this prompting example, right? I'm working on Lovable yesterday. And I asked for a very, very basic functional backend change. I go to the site and it gives me a whole completely, and I'm using it as normal, whatever. And I click on this one thing that I was testing and it gives me a completely different layout for this one thing, which I was okay with. I was like, what? So I'm like, all right, before we go down this rabbit hole, can you undo that? I was like, all right. Let's go back. Let's just undo this last change. And then I went back to it. I said, look, listen, Linda, listen. I want you to just change the functionality. Don't go out there and do all this grandiose change unless I ask you to. But let's just stick to the functionality. Be like me in this moment. Sometimes you have some great designs, some great ideas. This time it wasn't it. It just changed it completely. I was like, what in the world is going on? But what I have been doing, because I understand this code and I'm very resourceful, I have been putting the code, because it's like, here's the issue, right? I could just be wasting tokens and hoping that Lovable is able to figure it out. Or I can be resourceful and try to be surgical with these changes so that I don't mess up the application and I don't end up losing and I don't end up wasting a bunch of credits, right? So I was using Gemini to feed it the code and tell it the issue that I'm having, and it was able to find it in like 2 spots and help me fix it. And now I'm working on fixing it in a couple of more spots, but this is a very, very surgical approach. When you first, I told you guys this before, when you first start, have at it, right? You can, because you don't, like, it's just a concept, a prototype. As you get close to completion, which we are about a week away from completion, as you get to completion, right? You have to be very, very careful because the slightest AI blip will just will wreak havoc on your application. I've seen it done many of times. Things were all good just a week ago, but now the table's done turned. All right. Anyways, let's get into this first break time topic that I want to get into. Right. So somebody reached out to me on maybe Friday-ish, right? And this is what they told me. They said that they have been taking a class for their cybersecurity degree. They passed the cloud computing course. So let's celebrate them for that. However, they need a way that they could refresh themselves on the info that before they take the CompTIA exam for whatever CompTIA exam that is, right? Well, I have a strategy for that. I have a solution for that, right? What is the Tech Coach Ralph plan? What is the Tech Coach Ralph solution for preparing for CompTIA certifications and just about any other certification as well? So here's what I told the person, right? I said that there's probably, of course, some CompTIA guides out there that you can use, and certainly you want to use those. However, you also want this stuff to stick. And the best way you can make this stuff stick is by actually getting hands-on. You will never know how the mud feels unless you dive in and you roll around in the mud, all right? Well, think about certifications and stuff like that as the mud. You want to get your hands dirty. You want to build some practical experience. But here's the problem. Here is the problem. You like a lot of times in order to build experience, you need to be working to get some valuable, valid experience. So how do you get a job? How do you get hired if you do not have experience? You know, it's like the chicken or the egg. Well, good that you're tuning in for today. I am of the mindset of build your own experience, right? So what I'm going to do, we're going to prompt our way to getting ready for a CompTIA certification exam after you have just passed your cloud computing course. All right, so we are going to switch over to here. And I'm going to go to Gemini. And I'm going to say to Gemini, I just recently passed my cloud computing class. Is there, could you recommend me some projects that I could do that would sharpen my skills as sharp as a Japanese steak knife? Right? So there we go with that. And then we are going to say, I also need the best way to study the potential questions that would be on the test. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with that, right? So we shall see what it comes up with. Well, thank you, although I'm not the one who passed, but I'm taking the persona of somebody who passed. To get your skills as sharp as a hibachi chef's knife, here are some project ideas and the best way to tackle the exam prep. Let's see. Here are a few projects from foundational to advanced that will give you practical real-world example. I'll use AWS services as an example, but these concepts are transferable with Azure and GCP. Isn't it interesting that Gemini didn't start off with GCP and gave Azure as their primary, or they gave AWS as their primary example? Either way. Serverless static website. This is a classic for a reason. You'll host a simple website without managing any servers. What do? Build a basic HTML, CSS website or JavaScript website. Cloud skills. Use Amazon S3 for hosting the files. Amazon CloudFront to distribute it globally for low latency. And Amazon Route 53 to point to a custom domain to your site. That's a very, very good project, I must say. Dynamic serverless APIs. Let's add some functionality to that website. You'll build a backend that responds to requests like a contact form or a guest book. What you'll do, create a simple API. One that lets users submit their names and a message, which is then displayed on the site. Cloud skills, use AWS Lambda to run your code, Python or Node. Without a server, Amazon API Gateway to create the API endpoint that triggers your Lambda function, and Amazon DynamoDB, a NoSQL database to store the messages. All right, and then lastly, containerized. No, it's not last. Containerized application. And then, so that's with like using Docker or Kubernetes and stuff like that. But you're gonna want to create a containerized, the image with Docker, put it in the cloud. Probably want to, if you're using AWS, put it in ECR. All of that good stuff. Lastly, automated automated CI/CD pipeline. This project automates this entire deployment. The goal is to push the code to a repository and have it automatically tested and deployed to your cloud environment. All right. So that is how I would get started to get some practical experience, right? Because here is the thing that drives me crazy the most. People go and they pass the certification and they're like, all right, cool, do the work. They have absolutely no idea how to navigate the platforms, how to do any of the work, but yet they are applying for 6,722 jobs, expecting a company to just take a chance on them. It does not work that way. For the study exam, acing the exam, study strategies, studying for, or whatever, focus on understanding. For those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Focus on understanding, not, I repeat, not memorization. So many people, they just try to remember everything, right? I always say, stop trying to memorize, understand the concepts, understand what does what, right? And how they interact with each other. Always ask yourself, what problem does it solve and how does it compare to other similar services? For example, when would you use a relational database versus a NoSQL database? Let's see. Practice exams are your friend. This is the most effective way to prepare. That's true. Let's see. We have that, and do the hands-on work. The projects listed above are your best study material. All right, cool. Read white papers. All right. So that would be my strategy, right? That would be my strategy if I was looking to, get ready to pass a CompTIA, maybe Security Plus. Maybe that's what they're going for. I don't know. But if I had to get ready for a CompTIA exam, I'm always going to be focused on getting some hands-on experience so that I could, even when here's what happens, right? When I understand it and they ask a question that I might not be sure of, I can actually redo the work in my mind and say, okay, where does this thing come in? And that's where that's where I'm able to get it right more times than not. All right. So that is that one. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it helped somebody. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But we're going to wrap that one up really, really quick. All right. So let me go back to the... How about sharing all that? Let me go back to the chat real quick, and then we're gonna get to getting to do some work, right? Let's see. Junior says, memorization kills a lot of people after they get the job because they never really knew the work. That is true. That is true. All right, so we are going to start looking at how can we get this into a CI/CD pipeline. How is it going to work? So let's go over to here. And I have this. So Lovable created this GitHub action for me, right? Is it going to work? I don't know. Let me go ahead and run our test on this first to see how it's doing. I don't remember where we left off on it. So we go over here. 9 tests passing, 17 tests that are failing. We will eventually get them working. I think I had more working, made some changes, and then it stopped working. It's been a mess. But we'll figure it out. Just got to figure out like why these type of things are showing. Not too worried about it. But what I really do want to do is get in some. I want to get in some. Maybe if we can get check out the GitHub, like the CI/CD pipeline, then maybe we can see if we can get more tests to pass. But what I'm going to do is, let's see. Actually, before I even start that, I gotta go and check something really, really quick. I will give me a second to be right back. Let me throw this up real quick. All right. Oh my goodness. Junior says that. Where's my mouse? Junior says that lady on the screen looks possessed. Oh my goodness. It is what it is. It's maybe she is. Who knows? Maybe she is. Who really knows at the end of the day, all right? Maybe all of maybe the way some people talk, maybe all of AI is possessed. Anyhow, all right, let's jump into this. Let's jump into I am going to put up 20 minutes.
Let's go! Let's go!
And I am going to see if I can push this up to GitHub. git status, git push. All right, so this is up on GitHub. I am going to jump into GitHub. And we're going to go over to here. We are going to go to here. And we have our GitHub action. Or we have our GitHub workflow folder. Add test for your CI/CD. And we have a bunch of stuff failing already. We have a bunch of stuff failing already. And the goal of these CI/CD, the goal of this, right, would be once you have all this working. And so once you have all this working, if we click on this, when you know, this could be causing an issue. But once you have all this working, and you're on another branch, and you open up a pull request to merge into main, then it's going to tell you, oh, all the tests pass. You're able to, or these are like these actions are failing. You're not able to merge, right? I wonder if it caused any issues though. I don't think so. Let's see. If we go to actions, go here. All right. So this file, that GitHub file, right? If we go into the code, we go to this right here, we go to here, ci.yaml. It is saying on push to the main/develop branch, then it is going to be so on pull requests to the main branch. So when we push to the main or develop branch, run this GitHub action. When we try to do a pull request into the main branch, run this GitHub action. But let's rewind just a little bit, right? What exactly is CI/CD? What exactly is CI/CD? I know we covered this some time ago on our channel, but for those who might not be familiar with it, you know, let's say, what is CI/CD and why is it important? So CI/CD, which stands for continuous integration and continuous delivery or continuous deployment, is a cornerstone of modern software development that automates the process of bringing code from a developer's machine to the end user. It's a practice that enables the development teams to deliver software updates more frequently and reliably. So the goal would be, and why I'm doing this, right? Let's say after we publish this application live, I would want to say, all right, we're going to make some new changes. We're going to open up a branch, make those changes, test them out on that branch, and open a pull request to merge the code into the main branch. And our CI/CD steps, including our tests, which are going to be the unit test, the automated test, whatever other tests or actions that we need to have, They're going to be ran, and if all of them pass, then we should be in a good spot to deploy. But what if you make these changes and the test fails? What if it fails? Well, then we're like, all right, well, stop, hold up. Hey, we need to go and find out why they failed. Is it that our tests are flaky? Is it that our steps are flaky? Or do we truly have an issue? Do we have a problem here? Right? So that is what, so that's why we have these tests. It helps us go faster. It helps us deploy software in small chunks, right? Because the two pillars of CI/CD, at its core, CI/CD is about automating the software development lifecycle. Let's break down each component. And I'll tell you this, I remember when we used to have these manual deployments, we had a team that was handling deployments. We would be waiting hours for them to get to our deployments. And we're like just twiddling our thumbs, waiting for something to happen until, all right, we're just going to take over this ourselves. So, you know, like I remember at this one company, we used to have specific database admins, right? And now, a lot of the engineers, they manage their own databases, and you know the quality of the database it's not like we don't have technically a database administrator. You know what I mean? All right. So, continuous integration is the practice of developers frequently merging their code changes into a central repository. After each merge, an automated build and a series of automated tests are run to ensure the new code doesn't break the existing application. Key aspects of CI include frequent commits, automated builds, automated testing. The primary goal of CI is to detect integration issues as early as possible and making them easier and less costly to fix. Continuous delivery and continuous deployment. The CD can refer to two related but distinct practices. So what is continuous delivery? This practice takes CI/CD a step further by automatically deploying every code change that passes the automated test to a testing or staging environment. The final deployment to the production environment is a manual one-click process. This ensures that the code base is always in a deployable state. And continuous deployment, it is the most advanced stage of CI/CD pipeline. Every change that passes an automated test is automatically deployed to production without any human intervention. Yup. That is not the one that I meant to press. I wanted to press this one to totally, and this is why we automate, because I manually pressed the wrong button. This time I'm pressing the right button. Every change that passes the automated test is automatically deployed to production. All right, we got that. Why is CI/CD important? The adoption of CI/CD practices brings numerous benefits to software development teams and the business as a whole. Faster time to market, that is always important. By automating the build, testing, and deployment processes, CI/CD significantly speeds up the release cycle. This allows companies to get new features and bugs fixes to their users much faster. Improve code quality. The emphasis on frequent automated testing helps to identify and fix bugs early in the development process, leading to higher quality and more stable products. Reduce risk, increase developer productivity, enhance collaboration, faster feedback. All right, cool. So what I want to do is, let's go back and look at our GitHub repository, right? Let's look at our actions that were taken. Let's go to here. All right, so Lovable tagger. So some issues here, not to mention the failing test, but let's see what happens the first time it was added. Added test for CI/CD. And let's see, what was the results? What are the results? A bunch of missing. Wait. What are the results? Let's do. Can I create a run? Workflow, maybe? No. I want to see if I could force a run on my own, but I don't see it in here. Let's see what this does. Let me see. Let me check runners. Maybe what's in there. What if I was to say let's see, rerun all jobs. I just want to be able to see what's happening. See at what point it's failing. So it fails all the way early here. It's crazy. All right, so what do we do? What do we do? Because it's failing, it needs to be able to get to the running test. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go into Gemini, and I am going to say, when I try to run my GitHub tests, and I try to run my GitHub test in my unit test in GitHub runner, it is giving me this error. How can I fix it? And if we go to let's go here, and we're going to go to here. Let's see what we get out of that. Let me see. Oh, that sucks. I see what's going on. So we need to downgrade our Vite version because the Lovable tagger. Maybe there's a newer version of Lovable tagger. But that makes sense. Run the following command in your project root directory. All right. Let's see. This should resolve the conflict. All right. So we are going to do. So I'm going to copy this command, and I'm going to go. I wonder if. Let me see. Let's go over here first. Not that one. Let's see. So this would be Vite. .34 and then Lovable tagger. Do they have a newer one of this? let's go to so what I'm doing is I'm looking on npm to see what's the latest version of the Lovable tagger that they have. Maybe we can upgrade our version. Nope. The latest they have is 1.1.9. So we do have to downgrade as Google suggested. I'm going to copy this code. I'm going to go over here. Hopefully it doesn't give us some other issues. Let's see. So now we're going to say npm install vite like that. All right, so that's updated. So this should fix our let me make a run first, make sure that it's still okay. All right, so we're still getting the same failures because the code popped up open over here. So that's good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push up that code. Git let me see, status, git commit. Git commit package dash lock. All right, and now we're going to say updated or downgraded, I guess. Downgraded package for Vite. All right, so that's been pushed up. Let's go over to check on over here. And let's check up. Where's my GitHub action? Where's my GitHub? Okay, there we go. So if I go here, there should be another one. That was okay. There we go. You see, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It is in the way. Let's go. All right. Let's see. So let's see if it gets further this time. Oh, sweet. Oh, sweet. Look at that. We're making progress because we got past the dependencies. Now it's actually running the test. It's gonna fail, but it is what it is. But that's good. We got past that. Has tests for the geolocator type stuff. Cool. So let's do this. Here's what we're gonna do. We are going to fix up these tests, and we're gonna fix up these tests so we can get some more of them to pass. Another thing that I would like to see is the Vite report displaying here. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go back to Gemini and I'm gonna say, okay, so when GitHub Actions run on the test files, or not a test file, but when the GitHub action runs the test, the Vite test, is there a way? Is there a way to get it to generate the report that generate the report that can be created. The report for that test run. Let's see. Let's go with that. Let's see, what do we get out of that? The standard practice is to configure ViTest to output a report file and then use a GitHub action to upload that file as an artifact, making it downloadable. You can generate several types of reports, including HTML for visual overview, JUnit for integration with GitHub's UI, or JSON for custom processing. Maybe we'll do HTML and the JUnit. To configure the ViTest to generate a report, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to break. We're gonna go to break, and then we will do one more segment. We're gonna try to configure that report, so when we run it again, we can get that report and see how it looks, and go. We'll do maybe 2 reports, right? One for the JUnit and one for the HTML, right? So that'll be the plan that we have in our last segment. Let me see. I'm so thirsty. Maybe it's the heat. I'm so thirsty today. Let me check. Got like 100 things going on. Let me see. Cool. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to another break time topic, and this time, we're gonna talk about. I want to talk about it on Thursday night, but we ran out of time. But I saw this on Reddit. An AI developer creating a QA tool. Yes, a QA tool. How do I feel about that? Well, imagine this, right? Imagine this. Imagine this. Let's say that you are an artist and some developer wants to create something about art. And how do you feel about that? Or you are, I don't know, a chef, and some AI developer wants to create something about AI and cooking, culinary. How do you feel about that? So we're going to. I want to go and read this together with you, and I will give my commentary, and I will check out what they said in what some of the comments in here as well. Right. So let's go ahead and let me throw up 5 minutes on this so we don't be there forever. What just happened? Okay, there we go. And we are going to go over here. So saw this the other day. It says AI creating QA, an AI dev creating QA tool, right? It says, hey everyone, I'm a developer creating an AI QA test case generation tool for a company. I scrolled through some posts and saw some mixed opinions about using AI for QA. So I just wanted to ask all the QA engineers what you guys are looking for when it comes to an AI tool. For people who already use AI within their workflow, what are your favorite parts, and also anything you would want to see improve? I know it's pretty vague, but I wanted to get a broad overview of what the space is really looking for when it comes to AI integration. It says thanks and let me know if I should. Okay, whatever. So this part right here, this part is standing out to me, right? Some mixed opinions about AI, about using AI for QA. Well, so what I've seen in my own life is that there's mixed opinions about using AI for development. There's mixed opinions about using AI for music. There's mixed opinions about using AI for images. There's a lot of lawsuits around it. There's mixed opinions about using AI for just about anything you can think of.
Bruh.
But here's the thing, right? AI doesn't care about your mixed opinions. Companies don't care, because if you can help provide more value to the company, they are going to be on board. So here's what I think about, especially about creating test cases, right? First of all, it depends on how you are, like, what you're passing in to create those test cases. Maybe if you're passing in the user story and it's able to come up with stuff like that, great. But I think, which is this, it's the same for any other uses of AI. It depends on what you're putting in, right? It depends on how you are training this tool to be able to generate test cases. So what I would want to do, right? Here's what I would want to do. I would want, which goes with the issue that I'm having now, but I would want the tool to be connected with Jira, and I'd want the tool to be connected with GitHub, right? So that it says, all right, we need to generate test cases, right? So let me choose a story and this requires to have good user stories, but here's a story that I want to create the test cases for. This is the repo that is part of this story. And then like I'll put in any edge cases, any considerations that need to be made. And I would say generate. And I would want it to generate comprehensive testing scenarios based on the actual functionality of our application. So it should be able to read the application and know, they should be able to read the code of the application from GitHub, know what it's supposed to do, understand what the context of the user story is, and create its test cases that way. That's how I would see it. Because here's the thing, right? When people are saying, oh, mixed opinions about using AI for QA and everything else, here's the deal. Because I can tell you this now, more developers are using AI to code, right? And QA has historically always been the bottleneck. It is what it is. They have always been the bottleneck, because there might be 4 developers, 1 QA, and it comes in at the end of the sprint. So for me, what I would want help with, and here's like some ways that I use Gemini when I'm at work. One, I needed to wait until a particular time reach. Right? So my automation test was, I start this task, I start this thing, and I say it's supposed to run for 15 minutes, right? So it sets an end time, and then I say wait until the end that this time is met, right? And
move on, back to work, chop chop, let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work, back to work, back to work.
Could I have figured it out? Yeah, I could have. It would have took me a long time, right? But through Gemini, it was able to get it done. Like I was able to get the little script that I needed, read through it, make sure it made sense, pop it into my code, have it working and running in 30 minutes. In 30 minutes. And here are the people who are afraid of technology, who are afraid of AI and stuff like that. With all due respect, I'm prefacing this with all due respect, which means I can say whatever, according to Ricky Bobby, I can say whatever I feel like now. But the people who are always so afraid of AI taking their jobs is usually those who they don't want to use AI because they fear that AI is going to take their job, but it's also because a lot of times they only want to do enough, right? So what do I mean by that? I see it that if you use AI to help you, you can get so much more done. And you've seen when we used to do our Saturday morning shows, I would ask it to break it down to me like I was a sixth grader from the hood, right? And it would make things so understandable to me. So I'm like, we can like for these simple scripts, I don't have to spend 4 hours. There was some documentation on a repository that it doesn't belong to us. It was terrible, and we just couldn't figure out how to do something in particular. So I put it in Gemini, and Gemini walked me through getting it done. Another application that I'm working on. I'm not that good in React and stuff like that in JavaScript. It walked me through fixing the bugs that Lovable did for me. So I'm like, if you say no, I'm not going to use it, somebody else will, and somebody else is going to go a lot faster than you, and they will not be that bottleneck. So while you are that bottleneck in QA, your counterparts are like, I'm not going to be the bottleneck. I'm going to use all the tools at my disposal because my goal is to build amazing software. My goal is to make the company run it up so I can run it up, so I can get that
Money.
So for me, I'm like, go ahead and build it. Go ahead and build it. You know what? Let me say. Let me see the comments real quick, right? The comment said, can I refresh? Let me see. The comments say, have you looked through the previous posts from other developers who wanted more info to make an AI supported test case generator? I swear I've seen this at least 5 times now. Let's see. Why do many QA people dislike AI large language models? Because the error rate is too damn high. What? No. Maybe your prompting rate is just too damn sucks. Just saying. Just automate it using large language models as a judge. I think it's a start, right? Let's see. It's my turn to post this question tomorrow. Let's see. Write a test plan and some test cases on your own for an application you are familiar with. Now have AI do the same. You'll see why the general consensus is not there yet. Maybe, it's not there yet because what I just shared with you guys, I just gave away an idea. Maybe that's why it's not there yet, because it doesn't have the context. Well, give it the context. Have her read the code. Why is Devin able to do it? Because Devin has access to your code. And the feature that I had in Jira, I copied and pasted into Jira or into Devin, and Devin was able to build out my feature. And then it created 1/3 of its unit test or its widgets test were actually passing. So whatever, but this is why, right? And you know what? I should just build it myself and use it myself and be the end and just go that much faster. That's all I'm saying. That's all that I'm saying. All right. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Those who try to fight the force will get crushed by the force. All right. It is what it is. It is what it is.
How dare you?
Anyways, let me check the chat real quick, and then we are going to get one last segment of work in. Let's see. We got my guy Magnetar in the building. Hits us with the Sith Coach Ralph.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
What's up, Magnetar? What's good? What's happening? How are you doing today? Hopefully everything is going phenomenal for you. Let's see what else we got going on. Magnetar says, so far, there's no mixed opinions about me using it for my stats work. If I read it right, the school I'm at supports it for this class. It wouldn't make no difference for me. Because if my goal is to understand something that I don't know, I am certainly going to put it in there and say, explain it to me like this. And I tell it how I want you to explain it to me so that I can actually understand it, process it, and make use of it. So let the people have their mixed opinions. I'm happy that your school embraces it, but I'm going to win. I'm going to win. Magnus says, I've said this before, but this is the most amount of progress I've made with math in years. Tell them about it. Tell them about it, Magnus. They don't.
Ain't believing us.
Mm-hmm. Says it's also helping me with meaningful notes that I might have otherwise missed. How is it doing? I'm just curious. How is it doing that? Are you using it to listen in on the classes and take notes for you? But my when I have my meeting AI tool thing, it just follows me around from meeting to meeting, taking all the notes for me and sending it to me and to the people who participated in the meeting as well, to let them know that to give them context, right? Let's see, and context and action plans. Says the other thing, I think it's prompting me as well to ask certain questions like it will give me info but kind of leave things in the air to cause me to ask more in-depth questions. That's good. And I like that because sometimes it'll even tell you like, oh, do you like, how can I help you with this and how can I help you with that? So that's good. I'm happy at the way that you're using it, and I'm happy that it's able to actually help you with your stats work and all your other math work. It says that ends up leading to a better interaction. Sweet. Let me see. Magnus says, I copy and paste the video transcript into ChatGPT and it breaks it down in layman's exactly. And then the thing is like you can go like let's say you say, oh, give it to me at a 12th grade level, but it's still like complicated, and you're like, all right, give it to me at a 10th grade level, and you can like, and it's just between you and the large language model, because guess what? Here's the thing about these large language models. They are overly nice. And they will work with you and it'll give you whatever you ask for. So if you say, you know what, like let's say you're really struggling, can you help me understand this at a 4th grade level? It'll give it to you and so no problem. And it'll give you everything that you need and help you actually learn the thing that you want to learn without anybody judging you or shaming you for not knowing something that you should have known. Who cares? I'm learning it now, right? I'm learning it now and just go from there. So it is a great tool to help you get to wherever you want to go. All right, let's see what time. Let me see what time. Let's do one more. We will do one more and then we'll wrap it up, right? So we're gonna try to fix one of, well, no, we're not gonna try to fix. We're gonna try to get the report up there, and then we will, if we have time, we'll try to fix a test. If not, we'll carry it over to next Sunday, and we'll do it that way, right? So let's get our last 20 minutes on the clock.
It's time to do.
Let's go to over here. So let's see what Gemini had to tell us about. All right, so you can generate. So configure Vitest to generate a report. We are going to use. You can do this by adding a reporters option in your Vitest configuration, and we're going to say default. What is the default for HTML report, which is great for visual inspection? We will do HTML. Output file /HTML. Okay. For JUnit, which can be used to display a test summary directly in GitHub Actions run page, we'll do default. All right, so we're gonna do both, right? We're gonna do both. Update your package.json. Test CI. I think we have that to run your CI/CD environment. Modify your GitHub action. Let's see. Bonus displaying a test summary on GitHub. If you generate a JUnit report, you can use action like test reporter to display it. generate the JUnit report as shown in step 1. Add the reporter action to your workflow. Let's see. All right, cool. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. And we'll probably just do this for the last 20 minutes, but it is going to be very, very helpful. So let's start off with the ViTest folder. And I'll tell you this. In the past 2 months now, I have learned more than React by using Lovable, looking through their code, making modifications to their code, than I learned in the past 8 years-ish. Wait, we're in 2025? Yeah, about 8 years when I first was introduced to React as a QA engineer. The company that I was working for, we were working on a product where we had to switch from Angular to React. But by being able to troubleshoot myself, talk to Gemini about it, see what Lovable is doing, pass it through Devin sometimes, I feel so much more confident and comfortable working in this framework, working with JavaScript. Can I write it from scratch on my own? No, but I need to, right? Like I said, what I've done in 2 months would have taken me over a year to do. All right. Anyways, let's go over here. And we're going to look at the ViTest config or Vite config. And is there a ViTest config? ViTest. There's a ViTest config. Let's go to this one. And we're going to say they want us to default config. There goes that. Test. And we're going to say test reporters. We'll say default. Default and JUnit and HTML. And then we're going to go down over here and we're going to say output file JUnit and that should be like this. Oh, put a comma over here, put a colon over here, and we'll say for HTML, that should be called. Let me see. HTML. Let's do that. And then now we need to go to package.json. Oops. Package.json. Scripts. CI/CD or CI. And we're going to add reporter equals default. Reporter equals JUnit. Do I need to? Hold on 1 second. Okay, I guess. And we do output file dot JUnit equals JUnit dot XML. Did I put that for this one? Oh yeah, I got it. All right, cool. And then if we want to, all right, so now I got to modify our GitHub action. And we say that modify. So I'm looking at this over here. Modify your GitHub action workflow. Now update your workflow.yaml file to run the test script and upload the generated report. The key is using actions upload artifact action. So we have this. So it's going to be this one over here. Let's copy that and go over here. Let's see, where's the test? Build application. Needs test. I guess it's gonna be this one. Type checking, run test. All right, run test, run. If we go here and we outdent a little bit. Let's see, invalid. If uses always, this ensures the report is uploaded even if it fails. Uses okay, with okay. Why is schema validation incompatible types? Let's see, invalid child element in block. What? Let's see. Let's say if I copy that and I say when I update the .yaml file, I'm getting this error for upload test report line. Ah, crap. I hate when that happens. Okay, let's see what happens there. There's always points to an indentation problem in your YAML file. Very strict. Ah, this one right here. Yep. All right, cool. Let's go back over here. And let's throw in a little bit of indent. Oh, no. All right, so invalid child. Oh, this one is supposed to be. All right, so, all right, let's go to. Let's do this. Okay, let's say that was here. Let's say that is here. So we can have comments in there. If always, we have this in here. Let me see what's with name. Maybe they should be on the same level. Don't really matter, I guess. Let's see. We're close. All right. So name always uses action. Okay. Let's go over here. Run Vitess, upload. Wait, no, they don't have it indented on this one. Oh, okay, so it shouldn't be indented. Ah, okay, we got it. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and push that up and see what we get. What are all these things? Oh, okay. Those are from the tests that were ran. I kind of believe that they should be put in. Well, whatever. Let's leave it like that. Git commit or git. Okay, so we're gonna say git commit, and we're gonna say package.json vitest and .github added reports to the GitHub action. Let's go. Let's see what happens. All right, so now that is pushed up. Let's go over to GitHub. Where art thou, GitHub? I don't know where our GitHub is. Okay, there we go. So there you go. It's running. It's gonna fail, but I'm wondering if the linting should, or whatever. But I just want to see if the reports are gonna show up. Okay. So now what? No files were found with the provided path. Test report.html. So it got through this step, but it didn't find the HTML file, which is fine. We can always figure that out. What about the JSON file, the JUnit file though? I forgot there was something we were supposed to do. I forgot to do it. So we have that. So if you generate a JUnit report, you can use an action like Dorney test reporter to display the nicely formatted summary directly in GitHub's Actions UI. Did we put that? Oh, we didn't do that. Report. Okay, so let's copy this then. Move it over here. Let's say these are over here. Oops. Let's try that one. Git commit, GitHub, GitHub added, displaying the results in GitHub. action. All right, so now we're going to go back to GitHub. It is going to run again. Let's go back to here, and it's running. And you can have multiple of these GitHub YAML files that'll be handling different actions. Now it's installing. Then it's going to run the tests. But this is like everything that we're doing here, especially like the test is probably one of the most important part of the workflow. But doing that, oh, what is that? Input variable reporter is set to invalid value. But everything that we're doing here is so you can actually have things go faster, being able to check different statuses, all that good stuff. Let me see. Error input variable reporter is set to invalid value Vitas. Oh, okay, gotcha. Why would they? All right, whatever. Reporter type. This would be JUnit. Let's confirm. Let's confirm. Would the reporter type for be JUnit? When I entered Vitest, it gives me the error in GitHub. Where's the error in GitHub? Let's go with that. So let's see what that says, and then we can make that update. One last run, and then we get up and out of here. It's a busy day. I got a sprint review tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time in less than an hour. So gonna jump off of here, get back to working on the app to try to be ready for our sprint review as well. The reporter should be JUnit. All right. The error occurs because the reporter input actually refers to the format of the report file. So it's JUnit, right? Okay, so that's what I thought. Let's put JUnit. Let's push that up. So I put JUnit.
Lunch break! Lunch break!
Pushing it up. We shall let it run. Let's go over here. I just want to see if we can see the report, and if so, then we're good to go, and we can wrap it up for today. But there's so many different parts of having a successful application where I know a lot of people are afraid of AI and quote-unquote vibe coding, but just a tool. It is just a tool in the grand scheme of ideas from the way that I see it, all right? Let's see, run the tests. I want to go and fix all of those tests too, eventually. All right, well, it is what it is. It says that it also failed when setting it to JUnit. You just can't win. You just can't win at this point. Let me see if I messed anything up. Test report, path to the file, directory upload. Let me see something real quick. I'm not going to do it, but I just want to do, just curious. This is JUnit. Test report.html. When this was given, it was this one. Let's see. Vitess. Reporter JUnit. CI/CD. Reporter default. Reporter JUnit. Make sure I have that in my package.json. Vitess run. Reporter default. Reporter JUnit. Output file JUnit equals JUnit. Anyways, whatever. Figure it out next week. I think we made a lot of progress. We are very, very close. Anyways, let me check the chat and then I'm gonna get us up and out of here. Got probably a few more hours of work to go. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Let me see what we got happening. So Magner said agreed. Probably referencing when I was like, you can get all the help that you need without people making you feel bad, shaming you, criticizing you as you get the help that you need. So, yep. Let me see. We have the Scrubs Roxy in the building. Welcome. How is it going? Hopefully you're having an amazing day and weekend and ready to hit the week running. Shout out to Roxy. And here says, what's going on with Half Guard Halfie? More important stuff, to be honest with you. And plus, we haven't had any competitions lately, so probably it'll come and go as competitions happen. But I'm trying to get these apps out. I have deadlines for the things that I'm working on, so trying to meet those deadlines. So that's why I prioritize working on this channel and the apps that I'm working on over the Jiu-Jitsu channel, because at the end of the day, that is just a side thing for me. Let's see. Roxy's on break, getting that money.
Money. Hey.
Well, with that being said, you know what? I'm gonna go take myself a break. I'm gonna go take myself a 15-minute non-smoke break before I get back to work. Before I get to sprint review tonight. That's it for tonight, though. You guys, thank you guys so much. Remember, tomorrow morning we're gonna be going live. We are going to be working on that N8N workflow for the marketing, trying to get some better graphics so that we can continue with the workflow, all that good stuff, right? But that's about it. That is about it for today. Also, Candid Conversations tomorrow at noon. Just do it. Just go ahead. Just get out there and do it. Get to work. Stop telling everybody your thoughts, your plans. Stop looking for feedback. I'll tell you this right now. Stop asking for people's thoughts. Stop asking for feedback on your ideas. That is a preview of tomorrow's Candid Conversation. I'm going to dive deep into how to make the most out of your ideas and not just lose them because the first time you talk to somebody, they're like, oh no, this and that. And now you get discouraged and now you want to run away, right? Those are my thoughts. Let's see. Magnetar says, I have the week 4 exam and done for the week, entering week 5. Let's get it, Magnetar. I am rooting for you, Magnetar. But with that being said, I am getting up and out of here. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Sunday. A wonderful, wonderful week. Tech Coach Ralph, we are out.
Spartans! What is your profession?
For hands to pull me up, I fill my own glass, I drink my own cup. Failures fuel the fire that sets me free. Every spark, every flame burns brighter in me.
I called the shots, but they ran away. Promises made, but none would stay. So I turned the mirror, and what did I see? The only one I trust is me.
I stood alone when the world turned gray. Hope shattered like glass, dreams led astray. But I picked up the pieces, carved my own way. Now it's my voice, my game, my play. I'm betting on me, I'm taking the lead. No one else can match my speed. I replace them all, now I'm the key. The world's in my hands, I'm betting on me.
I'm betting on me, I'm taking the lead. No one else can match my speed. I replace them all, now I'm the key. The world's in my hands, I'm betting on me. Tired of waiting for a no-show crew, so I built the dream with my own view. Brick by brick, I carved my lane. Through the storm, through the pain.
I'm betting on me, I'm taking the lead. No one else can match my speed. I replace them all, now I'm the key. The world's in my hands, I'm betting on me.
I'm betting on me, I'm taking the lead. No one else can match my speed. I replace them all, now I'm the key. The world's in my hands, I'm betting on me. They vanish like shadows when the sun appeared. Left me to battle my own darkest fears. But I turned the silence into my cheer. Every loss was a step to get me here.
I'm betting on me, I'm taking the lead. No one else can match my speed. I replace them all, now I'm the key. The world's in my hands, I'm betting on me.
I'm betting on me, I'm taking the lead. No one else can match my speed. I replace them all, now I'm the key. The world's in my hands, I'm betting on me.
Oh, 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 oh.